Good morning and welcome to the Morning Line. Our first guest from the VRC, the EGM of Racing, is Leigh Jordon. We've left the spring behind, Leigh, and it's now full steam towards the Summer Carnival, where there's plenty of prize money up for grabs and also plenty of festivities as we lead towards Christmas. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Mark. It's as you said, spring carnival's behind us, looking down the straight at the moment at Flemington, and hopefully we're looking forward to a beautiful day. We've had a lot of rain here, so hopefully it's all cleared up. And so we've got a pretty hectic schedule actually in December. We've got 3 meetings in January as well. So we kick off tomorrow, obviously, with the Kensington Stakes meeting, and it's a very good one.
And part of that Summit Sprint Series worth $1 million, which was introduced last year, what has the feedback been from trainers after last year's inaugural running of the Summer Sprint Series? And what's the take-up been like, well, I guess subjectively from yourself talking to trainers?
Yeah, I think the biggest plus was spacing the sprints. We had the Christmas Stakes traditionally was on Boxing Day and the Standish was on New Year's Day. And we just found that's just too close, those two sprints. So a rejig of the sprints sees the Kensington tomorrow, leads in nicely to the Christmas Stakes on Boxing Day at Caulfield. And then we have the Standish in the middle of January, and then 2 weeks later, the Australia Stakes at Moonee Valley. So I think the big plus to all this is the spacing of the sprints. It gives a horse the opportunity to run in multiple sprint races across that period rather than maybe only being able to run in one or two. Plus also Racing Victoria have injected some nice prize money into those races, and we see the Kensington Stakes tomorrow, a listed race being run for $200,000, which is great prize money.
Indeed. Leigh, I think yourself as a racing nerd and a big racing fan, obviously, you come across races in the calendar that just seem to capture you, whether it was a performance where you back the winner at a big price or a great horse has come out and won it. You go through the honour roll of the Kensington Stakes and it's almost as though you have to be a good straight track horse to win it. Going back in the past, just looking at the previous winners of the race, likes of Fabergino even a couple of years ago, she loved the straight, the West Aussie mare. Tavachi, Headwater was a weapon up the straight, a bit like the quarterback. First Command and even General Truce, I reckon, before he won the Kensington, I think he was a Maribyrnong plate winner or maybe even a preview winner. But you have to be a good straight horse to win this race as we bring up the market. Tomorrow will be no exception, and Hal Vorsen seems to be ready to rock and roll. Is the $6 third favourite. Esther La Rocca, $4, has covered some ground. We know how fast Yulong Command is. You've even got very good horses like Ashford Street, $11, Parsifal, $10. But Rose Courts has come up as the favourite and is our replay horse, going back to last start, running second behind Jigsaw in the Doveton Stakes. This, of course, long been run at Sandown and now Caulfield in more recent times. Leigh, come up with a really good field despite not a capacity field.
Mark, it's not a capacity field, but it's a good quality. And we see Rose Quartz here making up a lot of ground, and she's 2 from 2 down the straight. So your comment about straight track horses, she fits the bill. Is the 1,000 metres maybe a touch short at this stage? Who knows? But she's quality. Graham Begg's a very good trainer, and she's a straight track specialist. The other one you mentioned, definitely Hal Vorsen. He loves the straight. Won most of his races up the straight, and Robbie Griffiths has done a great job with him. He was a good run last start. He sort of got way back, bit out of his ground. He was motoring home in a very good quality field. So, but I'm with you. I think straight track experience and specialist, and Rose Quartz and Hal Vorsen have got that.
Rose Court's currently the 260 favourite for Mick D and Graham Begg. It was wonderful to see Graham Begg have such great success over the Melbourne Cup Carnival with, of course, a few slights around his Melbourne Cup runner, but still managed to pick up a couple of very, very handy wins and a wonderful second with Say Majik too in the Coolmore Stud Stakes. We'll move on and have a look at the next race, the next feature. Need you to tell me more about this JRA Trophy. Listed race 2,600 metres. Persard, of course, I think 4th or 5th in a Melbourne Cup a few years ago. Nobel Heights was second in the Pakenham Cup last time out, 3.30. Cormorant is at $5. Adelaide Ace, Never Again, and then Winifred. Again, a few WA connections in there. But for this race, Leigh, can you just take us back through the history of this race? Because the JRA Trophy is a race that moves around, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you're spot on there, Mark. The the JRA Trophy is a rotational race that goes around the different states, and Racing Australia are commissioned with administering the JRA Trophy, and obviously seeing it finds a home each year. The conditions are the race has to be a staying race, 2,300 metres or further, has to be a black type race, which obviously the race tomorrow fits that bill. So, yeah, that's the history. So punters might think, gee, where's this come from? But that's the history behind the race. It's a good guide. It'll be a great guide actually going into the Bagot on New Year's Day in a few weeks' time. The listed Bagot over 2,800. So yeah, it's a good staying contest tomorrow.
Indeed, Noble Heights second last time out. Of course, that was going back to the Pakenham Cup. This will be race number 6 on the program. 10 runners set to go around at this stage, and as Leigh mentioned, watch for a few of these headed towards the Bagot handicap. Moving on now, we'll go and have a look at race number 8 and Corner Pocket. Well, I think it gets forgotten despite being beaten as a favourite last time out. He ran third in a Blamey behind Azaki, an inspirational girl. He's 440 in favourite.
Yeah, Mark, I think on this one, Corner Pocket really is the class horse, really, isn't he? He's got very good form, and this was a good run first up. So I think he definitely is the testing material in this race for sure.
Corner Pocket takes the lead. Chassis over on the far side. Then Umgawa and Southern Lad.
Here we can see Umgawa going on to win, and Corner Pocket did a really good job, and he gets out to 1,400 metres here today in the Tab Trophy, or tomorrow rather, in the Tab Trophy. But Nicolini Vito, Umgawa back for more, Movada, Poland, Morrissey. It's not going to be an easy race to win for any of these horses, especially with 58 kilos, thanks to the claim of Tommy Stockdale, Lindsay Smith. It was a massive year for the Victoria Racing Club, Leigh, of course, with a wonderful Melbourne Cup Carnival. As you look back on it, do you have any highlights that stand out for yourself?
Mark, I'm probably going to be very, very predictable and just say the Melbourne Cup with Gold Trip winning. I think from a racing perspective, that was great, but also just to see the crowds back at Flemington after years of COVID and not having crowds. I think it was just fantastic. And the scenes in the mounting yard after the Melbourne Cup win with Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace and all the connections was just, that's what I thought. That's what the Melbourne Cup's about. It's the people's race, everyone, cheering, and just the mounting yard packed with connections that were just over the moon. And for me, that's really the highlight.
Along with the inaugural event of the Tab Champion Stakes Day, thought that was a sensational success, and a big tip of the hat to yourself and the rest of the VRC team, and of course Racing Victoria, for putting that together. Are there any changes already in the works for next year's Tab Champion Stakes Day?
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because Tab have been a great partner of the VRC for many, many years, and they came on board for the concept, and they could see the vision, which was really great, and they partnered with us to sponsor the day, Tab Champion Stakes Day. So, we had the pillar races, the sprint, the mile, the 2,000. Won't go through the results, but they're obviously class races, and I think what we'd like to do, Mark, is just keep developing that day. It's obviously now going to be a cornerstone for the carnival. We've obviously got Derby Day to kick off the carnival, Cup and Oaks, and now Tab Champion Stakes, which is bookends the week. So I think the club are looking at we'd love to get those 3 races from 3 million up to 5 million, and we'd love to probably have some lead-in races as well coming into them, and looking at the support program as well. I mean, I think the Queen Elizabeth, the race that Solcombe won, I think it would be great if we could develop that race too as another sort of, probably maybe as a consolation race for the Melbourne Cup, or maybe a race that a younger stayer who may not be ready for the Cup can target, so they could go through that and then compete in the Cup the year after. So there's a few things we're thinking about, and I'm sure we'll just try and make it stronger, and also the other days of the carnival.
We will keep our eyes peeled for media releases from the VRC on more news. So much to look forward to tomorrow. Peter Moody's got a wonderful team in, including the daughter of the great Black Caviar and Invincible Caviar. We look forward to seeing her The opportunities and the ways to get involved are endless tomorrow. The offerings, general admission. There's a wonderful mates rates package I've seen on the VRC website. Table of $410, and on arrival you'll get a bucket of drinks. There are plenty of other offerings available at vrc.com.au. Go and check out the website for tomorrow's Kensington Stakes Day, Christmas race day at Flemington. It'll be fabulous. There's so much that you can go and check out on the VRC website too, with Inside Run will set you up for the entire day, and of course paired with the Tab app, you've got absolutely no worries heading to the races tomorrow. Leigh, a big thank you. We also want to thank you, if we don't talk to you before the festive period, thank you for being a part of the morning line throughout 2022, and we really look forward to more coming up in 2023.
Thanks, Mark, and Merry Christmas to yourself and to all your viewers, and I look forward to seeing you out there tomorrow at the races.
Yes, it'll be a sensational afternoon. Rail true, soft 5 and a lovely 22-degree day.